Hello, darlings. All right. Couple minutes late. I have to cleanse my cards. I had a private reading. I have to cleanse everything afterwards. So we have a fresh start. Okay. Welcome to Roundtable 3. Our beautiful J. Rocco and Nadia are in the backstage room, as we say, green room, because they're celebrities, you know. Um, I'm going to bring them in, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do first before we start the subject. I think Dragonfly 17, if she's in here, she had a question, I think, from Monday before we got cut off from the internet craziness that I do want to answer for her. And then we're going to do a quick prayer because we have some people that are going to be doing medical procedures on the next few days. And we want to give them good energy. Sage is burning, and we are under protective mode right now because energies are a little crazy. But we will get in talking about Mecca, the Dome of the Rock, and all that good stuff. And wherever it leads us, believe me, it's rabbit hole after rabbit hole, but we'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Just enough to sow a little seed to get you thinking, okay? So let's go ahead and bring in JoJo will be joining us in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and bring in Miss Nadia Jez and Rocco. Hello. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
So, I'm trying to wear a different shirt. I mean, I usually have 3 and 4 of shirts. So I'm trying to consciously put a different shirt
You're
on.
just stepping out of your comfort zone, Rocco.
Totally.
Is it both of these shirts, Jay?
Both of these?
I have one thing of housekeeping I think you're going to enjoy, and it'll just take a moment if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the trash can my wife bought for the laundry
God.
room? The problem. Well, I was doing laundry the other night, and one of those nights that everything kept falling. I have the dexterity of an I-beam. So got pissed off picking up most of these things, the socks and everything. So I go on the floor, I grab one of the dryer sheets, I throw it in the trash can, I walk into the kitchen, I went, son of a bitch.
He broke. He broke.
I can admit it. Give me a little credit. I can admit it. I went, son of a bitch.
Okay.
I didn't go back and get it. I didn't go back and get it out of there.
Wow. Let's write that down on the calendar.
He broke.
I admit. I just.
Everybody makes mistakes, Rocco. It's okay.
It was crucial. It was a crucial mistake.
Know.
That's it.
Now that you announced it on live air.
I told the wife, don't worry about it. She goes, told you.
So, oh boy, you got the I told you so. Okay.
Well, not usually, because normally she would just kind of smile and wink, and she just said, told you. So I was like, oh, we're going to go there. She went there. I said, okay.
Wow.
I know when not this far.
That's funny.
Speaking of shirts, I really want to give a shout out. This is a gift that I got from my sister-in-law from overseas, and it says, she is the strength. Right?
Nice. She is strong.
I like the color.
She is strong.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 31:25. So
nice.
And it says, she is clothed with strength and dignity and laughs without fear of the future. So
there you go.
I guess every time we're on live, I have to have a shirt with a message, huh?
That's all right. That's okay. All right. So, like I was saying, on Monday, before we were so rudely interrupted with technical issues, Dragonfly 17, I do believe that you were asking about grandbabies. I'm pretty sure you may want to put it back in the chat room so I get the question exactly the way you want. So, but I do want to answer that first because I knew that you had it. Actually, I probably still have where Rocco sent it to me. Let's see.
I don't delete text, so I'm sure I have it.
I don't delete them either. Let's see.
Well, she lost a baby that was due, and she just was wondering if she's
There
ever
it
had
is.
grandchildren.
Yeah, it says, my daughter has had 3 miscarriages and my son lost 1 baby. Will I ever have a grandbaby? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull cards on that for her because I don't want her to feel left out.
Just an FYI, I can't see the chat because I have my phone up for some of the stuff.
Oh, yeah, the information.
The rabbit hole, yeah,
The
and
rabbit
my
hole
notes here.
spider web.
Oh my God, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. The endless mess that it turns into. That's why it's one of those things where we just kind of stick to the highlights because there's just so much.
Well, also while you're pulling cards on that, can I say a disclaimer?
Of course.
Okay, what we're going through in this these questions of enlightenment today are basically the purpose, structure, man-made, not man-made. We're not knocking any religion. We're not knocking who's right and who's not right. We're
Right.
just trying to answer questions, and sometimes those questions do lead to biblical, Quranic, Torah, even Sanskrit answers. So that was my disclaimer.
Yeah, and we're just thinking outside the box.
Exactly.
I'll take full credit on that. I'm little Abby, normal.
Hey, Abby, how are you?
Good.
Okay. All right. Dragonfly 17. So I pulled cards if you will ever have a grandbaby. Now, these cards are very, very obvious because we start out, and this is the thought process that you have right now, and that is the death card. Let me switch over here. This is the death card. It just represents an actual death, but it also, you need to understand that things can change. Okay, let's end that thought process that it's never going to happen. This is you currently holding on for dear life, hoping and manifesting, feet firmly planted on the ground. This is going to happen because this is a hope and desire that you have that you're manifesting. This is the past card in the world. Yeah, there's a great firm foundation as well. This will change your whole world. It flipped your whole world upside down when you lost grandbabies. But here's the current situation. You simply wanted to know if you'll ever have a grandbaby. Massive Ace of Wands. Yes, you will. You absolutely will. Not a problem. Now, it's interesting to find out about the Three of Pentacles in here because this, I love the firm foundation. Now, this is a collective card. It's a community card. It may take some intervention or medical help, if that makes sense. You may be working with other people. Maybe it's through adoption or in vitro or something like that, but that is working with someone else. Okay. All right. I know that you're tired of being hoodwinked because this is like, I feel stuck because every time we get our hopes up, we get the news that something bad has happened. You feel like you're playing a sick game. Nope. It's part of the contract. This is their contract as well. It's going to be all right. That big Ace of Wands, I love your confirmation card, is the Sun card. Everything's going to be okay. Look at the little baby coming in on the horsey. It's going to be all right.
That's cool.
There will be a baby delivered. Okay. Beautiful. Your base card on that is the Five of Cups. The loss. Don't focus anymore on what you've lost. Focus back here of what's coming. Okay? So let's keep your spirits up. But Dragonfly 17, that I hope will bring you a little peace and comfort, the spirits and baby. Okay? All right. All righty. So I think that was the only other one that we didn't get to on Monday. Okay.
It was good to. It's good reading.
Nice read.
Yeah. That's good. Good confirmation. I like that. All right. Let's do. All right. So we have some people that are going to be going through some medical procedures coming up. and I just do want to do a quick prayer to the Creator for protection and guidance and keep them safe, especially the crazy energies that we're going to get ready to talk about briefly. But if you'll join me in just a real quick prayer to the Creator for guidance and protection over the people that are going in for medical procedures. I'm not going to say what they are and who they are because it doesn't matter.
And also maybe, I believe we have some in the live chat that have husbands and all who are also ill. So let's add that also too.
Yeah, whether if you've got an illness or dealing with a loss or pain and suffering in any way, shape, or form, or an upcoming something, everyone's included in this. This is just a roundabout. So everybody. And even if everything is going hunky-dory for you, we still pray for you as well. Okay? All right. So let's join together. Heavenly Creator, we humble ourselves before your mercy and grace to ask for your hand of protection, guidance, your loving offering of wisdom of how to deal with loss, pain, sickness, heartache, as we ask for your hand of protection of any procedure that's going to be done this coming week. With anyone that medical procedures, we ask that you stretch out your hand of protection and healing over them, that everything goes without a problem. You have the ability to do this. And we ask all of our spirit guides, guardian angels, higher selves, ascended masters, and shamans, Yeshua, Magdalene, be with those that need you in any way, shape, or form, in their own special way. And we ask all these things. So it is, so let it be, and amen and amen. Okay. Now, real quick before we jump into our topic of the day, Friday is up in the air because that is the day that one of my family members is having surgery. So I don't know if Friday will happen or not, because it just depends on how it goes, how long it takes. So I should know more around this time on Friday afternoon. The energies Friday, do not be surprised if y'all start biting each other's heads off, if you're not already. It is a full moon. It is a lunar eclipse. We have a comet coming in and spewing out chunks. It's hurling chunks. And the aurora borealis is quite active right now. Even it's coming further south than it normally does. So if you feel crazy energy that makes you irritated, that has a lot to do with it, okay?
Still in Mercury retrograde also.
Yes, we are in Mercury retrograde, so we're getting slammed from all ends. So if you feel irritated, extremely emotional, just don't act on anything. It's going to end up putting you in jail. That's all I say.
Also, electronics will go crazy. Communication will go crazy. So if you guys want to hibernate on those 3 days, have fun.
Yeah. And it's not just Friday, it's the weekend. As long as that energy is around Luna, then that's a very real possibility. All right. Deb, you're so funny. Slamabama. Slamabama. Okay. All right, guys, let's jump into today's topic. We're going to talk about Mecca, the location in Saudi Arabia, and we're also going to talk about the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem as well. So, I'm going to let you guys, while I'm bringing up pictures, to start maybe however you want to do it. If you want to start with history, dates, that kind of stuff. I've got family coming in, sorry. But it's whatever you guys want to do. I'm going to pull up some pictures here. Which one do you want to start with? Do you want Mecca or the Dome of the Rock?
Maybe history. Jay, do you prefer anything, or should we start with Mecca?
I'm flexible.
Okay.
Well,
it's hard because both of them are very touchy.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? We'll start with the origin of the prophet Abraham.
Okay.
Maybe. All right, because the reason why I want to do the origin of the prophet Abraham is in the Bible, or probably the Torah, Abraham had two sons, one from Sarah, which goes to Isaac, which is the bloodline of the Bible, and then one is from Hajar, which is the firstborn son, but Ishmael, which is Islam, goes to Islam. So that was a brief history, and the reason why I brought that up is if we go to the Dome of the Rock first, the Dome of the Rock was told that Abraham took Isaac there as a sacrifice for God, which then was turned into a lamb. In Islam, the Prophet Abraham took his son Ishmael to a mountain and offered him as sacrifice, which also turned to a lamb. And this is why we're communicating and talking and sharing, because I find it ironic that he tried both sons. So from there, do we want to talk about what's beneath it, Jay, or do you want to talk about the structure?
Let's go with the structure because I had a preview question in Monday. Would kind of segue.
Okay.
But the structure itself, I think the two are totally different. Two structures.
Yes. And we
Do
do
you
know
want me
that
to go? Oh, I'm sorry.
the Dome of the Rock is octagonal. There's 8 sides to it. I did a little research of where all the gold came from. That was quite interesting. And
some
what?
of the designs were taken from Byzantine times. The arches and the decorations. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I could not find any structure pre the Dome of the Rock that was octagonal. I searched countries, I searched religions, I searched you name it. This
Right.
And one of the things, as we mentioned, there's rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole.
Yes.
And
Unreal.
the three religions, Judaism, Islam, and our Christianity, they're all kind of known as Abrahamic religions. So
Yes.
just wanted to throw that out there also. But let me start with the question that I had mentioned in last week's show. I had asked the Dome of the Rock at the very top of the border where the octagonal shape, not the actual dome, there is prayers across the whole thing, interior, exterior. Most of them are hundreds and hundreds of years old, and they've been restored after this has been modified and rebuilt a few times.
Right.
But one of the things that I had with my downloads is the question I'd asked Jen was, when I look at the prayers, I see what they've shown me is that the prayers, I see like the G clef and the musical lines, and I see points of tunes. And I had asked about it being, music or harmony, but there's something else to it. What they showed me was there's a music within the music. In other words, I looked at it and I saw points where, say, the words that are written on the tiles are crossing certain lines roughly in my mind.
Right.
But behind it, the lines turn, and there's now another harmony in the background in my mind and what they've shown me. I thought that was extremely interesting because one of the things that researching this is that there's the entrances are kind of on roughly the cardinal points. However, only the north entrance is referred to as a portal, not an entrance.
Wow.
I thought that was very interesting. I'll let that one go from there. But the prayer itself, it's I had which Nadia already had most of the information, but there is a complete translation of all the prayers with the inside and outside on the walls. Very fascinating, very interesting, and quite beautiful.
Wow. So you're saying that what you're finding is that there's almost music or a message embedded inside another message.
Yeah, and I was telling Nadia, okay, we're looking at this from the 3D aspect, okay, like, our world. And I'm trying to think different. When they showed me that the lines kind of turned and instead of points, now the curves are actually another type of frequency of resonance, and what I kept getting in my mind was language of the angels. Language of the angels.
Wow.
It's not language of the angels is not words. It literally, what they're showing me is it's harmonic, and we can't necessarily do that with our bodies.
So a certain frequency.
A
It's like a
frequency.
Yeah,
heavenly frequency.
yeah, and it plays the same. Like the front that we can see, what I saw was the human side.
Right.
What's behind it that they showed me is a complete another thing for the angels, and maybe that is for the evil also. I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, well, let's start. Let me. Every time I say allegedly, we'll say allegedly because none of us really know this. So,
Yeah.
all right. The Dome of the Rock. The dome was originally made with all gold, but they took it down, and now it's wooden, and it has gold paper.
Yeah.
So
It's like a plating or a covering on it. Yeah.
Yeah, gold flakes or whatever they call it. So now, what interests me is the rock that is housed inside of this dome
Mhm.
is a raised rock. It's raised 60 feet by 40. It's a rock that is 60 feet by 40 feet, and it's 6 feet from the ground. And in Islam, it was said that when Prophet Muhammad ascended to get more messages from God, the rock wanted to go with, and he told it to stay, and it was stayed. It stayed in its place. That's the significance of what the Islam says.
Mm-hmm.
This is as large as I can get this, but it simply just says inside the dome of the rock. This is the rock that you're talking about that's inside, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, this is basically that rock that you see is on the floor level, but when you can go downstairs, and that's where you see it elevated. However, they put some cement and stuff because they said people were afraid to go under there. So I don't know, but I did see a rock. It could have been a cliff. I don't know.
It literally was called floating rock.
It was
for
called
the foundation stone.
Yes.
And I have to agree with that. From what I looked at, that's 100% true.
Yes. So the funny thing about this foundation stone, Crusaders went there, a Templar went there. Everybody went there to get something or to look for something. In fact, I find it interesting that by the Crusaders, they actually drilled. They actually drilled a human-made cut, and they were searching for the well of the souls.
Wow.
So how was it cut? That's one of our questions. How did they drill a hole, first of all, to find the well of souls? You want to
It's
add
not
anything?
a small hole either. It's not a small hole.
Right. All right. So we want to know. Yeah.
Did they bring generators? Did they bring? No, that was
Yeah, that's what they did. Solar powered.
Did they? Home Depot had the right size bit.
Exactly. And when they didn't, they went to Lowe's. I mean,
And they weren't part of the street construction worker. They didn't go next to where it was supposed to be drilled.
the bad design. I like it.
Yeah. Also, while you're doing that, the dome of the rock was constructed from 685 to 691.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that was one of the times because I guess they reconstructed it. The circle represented perfection, eternity, and heaven. The square represented the earth. Octagon is probably both of those in combination.
Wow. Okay.
And in some instances, the octagon is also the soul. I just thought I'd throw that out there also.
Yeah. All of this, the whole thing of Jerusalem is on the Mount of Moriah, and we'll discuss about that later.
Right, and the other religions with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite fascinating how this was done, because there's some illusion there, some secrets there they're not going to reveal.
That will lead to my question.
Wow.
Yeah. We've
okay.
been.
Six of Pentacles. This has to do with it took a lot of work. This was giving and receiving. So, but I don't like how this was done. This is slavery. It was forced. It is man-made because I don't have off-worlders in this.
We're talking about the whole.
The whole.
No.
So this was done very strategically, but because this is a strategy card, but there is some stuff that is not being revealed in this reading because that's illusion and trickery, and there's more to it than what you're seeing.
That brings up my question.
All right.
Okay, your question, and then I'll.
It may come down to they're going to keep this a secret. She's very independent and sovereign. It's like, that's my business, not yours. Like, well, fine. Okay, I told you this, bossy. This is one of those things where you get down the rabbit hole and it says tread lightly.
Yeah.
This is a warning. Tread lightly. Yep.
Maybe I should have you pull cards of my next question. I should
Well,
either ask it or not ask it.
It ends with a judgment. They're going, hello, look here, not there. You're not paying attention. So, yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
let me throw my question out here now.
Okay.
First off, also, this seemed to me, and I had spoke with Nadia about it. This just did not seem like let's check out the Dome of the Rock and Mecca. This actually became a personal journey, I think, for all of us, in the sense that we spanned and then we kind of found many things. However, mine is along the lines of my spiritual, not religion, from what I've gotten. One of the things when I viewed this with the help of my guides, I could see the energy of the divine over on the rock, but I also felt a magic or a spell over also. In other words, it was man-made. This energy with that. The reason why I'm saying that is because I tried to go down the hole of sorrows.
Yeah.
No chance.
Nope.
No chance. So my question is it protected by good and evil, or is the evil the energy I'm perceiving? It doesn't feel bad.
Could it be
feels
neutral?
very, very protective there, but it's an earthly thing.
Okay.
Whether you want to call it cabal magic, something, or spirituality magic, there's something earthly about that energy.
Well, that leads to what I was looking at, which was the Mount of Moriah. The Mount of Moriah
Oh yeah.
is a very solid rock mountain, and beneath, okay, we'll say allegedly again, beneath it, the original was King Solomon's, what do we call it, temple. Above it was King David's temple. So King Solomon's temple was made a temple to support the ark. King David wanted to build above his own father's, and then the Dome of the Rock was built above both of those. Is that why we cannot understand that energy, or a cast spell that is put beneath it but above it is not?
And there are so many complications when it comes to this. So many.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, let me ask you this much, Jim, before you say anything. If you want to hard pass it, hard pass it.
I don't need to hard pass it. I'm just sitting here going, where the heck did that come from? Because it's not what I was looking for, and that's when spirit gets you. It's what you're not expecting.
Go ahead. I think I know where you're going with it. Go ahead.
Is it?
Egypt, it has Egypt written all over it. Now, it's not.
Well, Egypt could mean the promised land Jews. It could mean that. No? Okay.
Nadia, you want to throw that piece out there?
Anunnaki?
Okay. All
That's
right.
why I figured
So
I'd add everything to it. Okay, go ahead.
this is the great force behind it, but I want you to pay attention to this is the first card, the Knight of Wands. This is charging forward with the powerful force.
Here's
What
in the
is down
background.
here?
Pyramids.
Okay. All right.
Let me throw something out on that.
Yeah.
Dome of the Rock is octagon shaped. So are the pyramids.
Yes, it is.
Not 4.
Yes.
4 sides. 8 sides. Okay.
Yes. I like the fact that the spirit threw in the way we feel as we go through this information. This is going to wear your butt down and feel like I'm done. This is ridiculous.
Yes, it was.
So this is the past. Guess what card that is?
Yep, they did.
Yeah. So, but moving forward, coming from Egypt, because that's my big Egypt card. This is from the past. The current card is, this information, because it sits beside this one, it's going to flip your world upside down. Look what's sitting on top of it. Oh, great. It's a little blurry again.
Yeah, it got blurry.
It's a Sphinx.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a couple cards already. Wow.
Basically, it's one of these guys. It's just smaller, and it sits on top of the Wheel of Fortune. Everything is leading back to Egypt.
Could that be the magic?
Including the leaders and the pharaohs and where that information comes from.
Could that be the energy of like the magic, what I'm feeling, the earthly stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Something low.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is just us looking forward. Like, keep looking. This is, you're still looking. Yeah. Tower card. When you figure this out, it's going to change your thought process of how all this stuff came to be.
Already has.
Yeah.
This morning.
Cool.
Yeah, but that base card is the off-worlders. That's like you said, the Anunnaki, and that's where we're learning about Egypt and all that, because that's a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the energy is leading that question.
Yeah, because how I came up with that was from one of my researches that King David, God did not accept his. Why does my brain? I don't think it's supposed to.
The palace.
You didn't want him to build?
He did not want him to build a palace, and they also mentioned that he had red hair and blue eyes, which to me.
Excuse me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I talked to Nadia about that the other day. I said, "You mean the Anunnaki?"
Well,
Don't forget don't forget the Native American giants.
What? What are you talking about? Look at the knight.
Excuse me.
The first card that came up is the knight. He has red hair and blue eyes.
Oh wow!
Wow.
No kidding! Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
honestly, Jen and Nadia, has this just blown out like an explosion? Once you started somewhere, the information just go boom, 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 and then it's shooting out again.
There's red hair, blue eyes, chariot.
Well, I also see, is that a cross at the heart in the front? Is that Templar?
No, that's not a cross. It's like a peg and a nail. It's like what you would consider the tongue of a wagon, the pin system.
Oh,
It
okay.
showed me like it was a cross in front of a heart.
Well, that's an emblem, but that's where the peg would sit. But that's just the eagle emblem.
Okay.
And then it has it like a crest, but that's a physical object on the front. It's
Yeah, like
almost
a crest.
dimensional.
Yeah, like a crest, like a.
But it's not. This is an actual tongue and groove peg system, because if you could tell up
I get it.
close, it's
I get it.
three-dimensional.
It almost,
Pops out.
from me, what I can see right now, it almost looks like an ankh.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And it's very three-dimensional.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah, I see it. Okay.
These
see it.
wings are sitting down in this cup that's protruding out,
I see
and
it.
then the
That's much
tongue
better.
is on the front of that.
You see it.
Yeah, it's very three-dimensional. It's kind of hard to
I should,
show
pull
in
out
the
I
camera.
should pull out my cards to take a look at it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will.
it's a very three-dimensional, because you can tell by the depth perception in the picture that it sticks out.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to mention also, we kind of touched a little bit of history, but Muhammad is the one that said, once we start going here, Muhammad is who changed them praying from going praying towards the Dome of the Rock to Mecca.
To Mecca.
That was the Prophet Muhammad did that. That was his insight and his enlightenment, the words of God. But they used to pray towards the Dome of the Rock. Now Islam prays towards Mecca.
Which is funny because the turmoil and everybody's fighting here in Jerusalem, but maybe it's not supposed to be here in Jerusalem.
I'm kind of glad it's in Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's fine.
From what we found out, yeah.
Yeah.
And incidentally, I couldn't verify this, but I read it. Apparently, Orthodox Jews pray towards the Dome of the Rock. It came across in one article.
The Wailing Wall, because they're almost butted up against each other.
Mm-hmm. But that's what like I said, that's.
Yeah.
I found it fascinating.
Side of it. Yeah.
I found it fascinating that they're almost back to back, if you think about it. It just goes to show the struggle.
Yes.
Almost like right in front of your face at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, we'll talk about that. In Jerusalem, they're supposed to be living in harmony. There's a quarter for the Jewish population.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quarter for the Muslim population, quarter for the Christians, and quarter for the Armenian Orthodox.
Okay.
So it is such a spiritual place because of the history.
Mm-hmm.
Yet without the interference, they all lived in harmony. Like where I walked, because I've been there, and where I walked, there was always a church. Next to the church is a mosque. And they always said that when the prophet would walk, he wouldn't take over that church. He built it next to it. So it was actually peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Where it was interpreted to take over this and take over that is hard to say. Also, in a place called Hebron, there is a mosque called Abraham Mosque. It's called Ibrahimi Mosque. And that is where Jews pray in one day, Muslims pray on another day. And the tomb of Sarah, I got it written down.
Jacob, Rebecca.
Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, and Leah.
Yep.
Their tombs are in that mosque. So there was always peace and harmony.
Yeah.
What caused it to not have it?
The Khazarian Mafia.
Oh, you said that.
Jew.
Yeah, Jew. Bless you, Jen.
Jew.
But
subtlety.
you look at who is in charge of causing the division.
Yeah, there are many. I mean, honestly, there were things that I found out that I thought this just it's not worth mentioning on the air.
Yeah.
It is worth mentioning on the air, but it's not worth mentioning on the air.
I know.
It was such a learning experience. I mean, overall, not just. I've actually read the Quran. This was years ago. I couldn't remember all of that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I've been through the Bible twice. I've read the book of Moses, but again, once. I'm going to say this, if you will, and I mean no disrespect to. Well, let me ask you, Nadia, should I mention about my correlation between the religions, or no? I don't know what to do. I'm really getting not
That's
energy.
okay.
Maybe I'm gonna pass.
No, it's
Maybe
fine.
I should pass.
How about if we, because of time restraints, let's go to Mecca.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
From there, and if
Pass.
we have to make it a part 2.5 or 3.5, since we'll do that.
Yeah, I just got to pass. Okay.
Yeah, because we're not trying to cause a division, but we're causing an enlightenment.
No, not at all. Actually,
of what we came up
yeah,
with. We
right. And
led to come up with, actually.
right.
Because that's all I have actually on.
Yeah. What I was going to say was actually kind of unifying, but not for everyone.
But not for everyone. Yeah.
Now this is actually a beautiful building. It
Yes.
really is in its simplicity.
And you don't realize how large it is from these pictures. I mean, it is massive.
Those are people.
I know.
You know, that's not grass. It's not
Their
sparkly
normal
stuff on the floor. That's people.
their normal average is right under 3 million people on the pilgrimage. Of
But
course, that changed during the COVID crap.
Mhm.
They only allowed 10,000.
And the
Can you
size is
imagine how
massive.
they? Yeah, can you imagine them being the ones to pick who gets to go and who doesn't? Because that's so important.
Well,
But
and it's part. I think imagine how important that would be to you
yeah,
in your own religion. I mean, if this was something that I was very devout and I wanted to be there, I, I
hmm
I would want to do that so bad. I really would. I mean,
yeah,
I can empathize and feel that. And one of the things I wanted to mention about the cube here
hmm
is when this was originally built, also hundreds of years ago. Nadia probably has the actual date. I have it written down, but when this was built, it didn't have a roof. It was just four walls,
yeah,
and I found that unique in the sense of nothing in many respects. You can't contain God. You know what I
right,
mean? You can't put him in a box. But yet I see a dome and I see a roof now.
yeah.
Because originally the Dome of the Rock did not have that dome on it. So again, just an outsider looking in, being respectful. I didn't understand the roof on this, but I thought when it was open, that just seemed more to me like outside of the box, how you should be celebrating certain things, not a box.
Right.
Again, but just my observation. And like I said, I was fascinated by Mecca. I learned so much. It was amazing, truly amazing.
Wow.
I'm so upset that I missed the beginning of that. I had to go.
I was just talking about
Okay.
the four walls and the roof. I'll be right back. Excuse me.
Oh, you're fine.
We're getting drawn away exactly like what we were doing with the searching. It's like things would draw us away,
Yeah.
and it's amazing though. Let's see what I can get you from here. They did he tell you if they just the layout of it?
We were just talking about it. We were talking about how it didn't used to have a roof on it, and now it has a roof.
Yeah, I think they have 43 pillars of wood came from some part in Africa.
Right.
I don't know what the significance. 43 actually, if you add it, it's 7. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, we were just trying to figure out like who made the decision to put a roof on it. Because is this a man? Obviously, man's decision, or did a new modern day prophet get a download? It says put a roof on it. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's the Ottoman,
Yeah.
the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, um, put the wood, and he
hmm
also covered it in this fabric. That is not decoration. Every time after the Hajj, what I read was they changed that fabric. They cut it in pieces and hand it out to
Oh, okay.
people. So every year, that intricacy is made.
I was trying. I've read so much this week on this, and I heard that there were pieces that had broken off, and there's a silver band that they ended up putting on it to help hold it
Okay,
together or something.
that's
So
what we were going to talk about. I was hoping we could wait for Jay, but um, we could say that they believed that Mecca actually was the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad,
mhm,
and it's supposedly the center of the world.
okay,
And so we were diving into. I'll talk about the rock that's
mhm,
placed on the eastern wall or the eastern corner of that
right,
building.
okay,
So they said there was a rock that came from heaven during Adam and Eve's time.
yeah. That it
Okay.
belonged. That it was given to Adam when he got kicked out of the garden or something.
Well, it started out supposedly the stone at 4.5 feet by 4 feet, and then right now it is 2.5 feet by 1.5 feet, because Crusaders and Turkish Empire stole this rock and actually it broke in pieces.
Oh, okay.
So when they put it together, they sealed it with silver.
Silver.
Yeah,
It's an amazing amount of silver too.
that's an
Yeah.
amazing amount of
It's
silver.
like 90 pounds of
Wow.
silver. Yeah, it's a and I was listening. I took my phone with me
Yeah.
just in case I was listening, Nadia. So
Well, I wanted to wait for you to come in so we can
Mm.
probably talk about this. It was the Mecca. It was built by Abraham and Ishmael,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was completed by the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so now we'll talk
Do
about.
we know how much of it was done by Abraham and Ishmael? Like how far did they get before it needed to be completed by Muhammad?
All I know is there were no doors.
Okay.
So other than that, I don't know what was completed and what wasn't
Right.
completed. I have no idea.
it was literally 4 walls. That
All
was
right.
it.
um, Jay, it's okay to talk about the each corner what they face.
Yeah, yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
So we know that the eastern wall is faced towards Iraq. No, towards Amman, the eastern wall. And the
Right.
reason why, well, I also found out that it is aligned with the rising point of Canopus a star. Also,
Interesting.
also known as Janub, which means south in Arabic. But the rising point is one day it will shine brighter than the northern star. So it's funny that the north and the south are now switching axes. That's what they've been talking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. The north is faced towards Iraq. The south, what did we end up saying the south was faced towards? Well, we could say India. We'll say
Yeah.
India.
Yeah. They
Okay.
like Eurasia, like Asia and India, that
south.
kind of. Yeah.
North India, right? But the one that got us was the West. And the reason why it was the West, it didn't get, we were thinking we're going to go, oh, easy, it's going towards Jerusalem. But we found out they called it Levenant. Is that how you would say it, Jay? Levenant?
I slaughtered it. I'm gonna your pronunciation sounds much better than mine.
What does it? Say it again, Jen?
Levant is it's Levivant, I believe. Is that how you? Is that what you're talking about?
Lev. Oh, hold on, I got it here. Levantine. Levantine.
That's it.
Levantine.
17.
Levantine.
Yeah, Levantine.
That's a number I didn't learn.
It's after 11.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so Levantine. So we said, okay, what is Levantine? Thinking Palestine, Jordan, whatever.
Right.
Well, we came up with Levantine. The origin of Levantine is Canaanites.
Oh gosh.
Thank you.
They were part of the land.
Shoot. Sorry.
The land next to the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting, right?
That just every time I hear that
Coincidence.
word, it makes my stomach turn.
Coincidences.
It's a
No,
coincidence.
yeah, it's just a coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting to find out. Now it's facing that now. Hopefully the sun comes on the east, the darkness on the west, and we're gonna hopefully say it'll clean up that mess. But
Yeah.
it was an interesting find in that rabbit hole.
Mhm.
Well, that rabbit hole, because it just went deeper into more rabbit holes just by saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it was like an explosion. Seriously, it just
Everyone, it led to 10 more, and those led to 10 more, and it just kept going.
And I kept getting this route. You know, there's a route, and I was trying to stay focused on the route. And what I thought was the route wasn't the route. It's just we could do several shows on hour and a half, 2 hours on these two structures alone, not even touching the religion, just the information, the history, the mind-blowing synchronicities. It's amazing. It's amazing.
As we call it, a mind fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then taking the two and how they actually, in some aspects, work together.
Yes.
Can we pull cards on that if there's a connection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to add to that, not just a connection, Jen.
Yeah.
Real quick. It's a polarity. Like they just showed me positive, negative, like a battery. There's a polarity. There's a polarity. The I don't know how to describe it.
Well, the distance,
There's
the
an energy.
position, and
There's an
where
energy.
they're at under the stars as well. Everything is connected, I believe. Yeah.
Well, what were they saying? Isn't it like like the pyramids? It's an energy field, or a
Yeah. Well, because well, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
All right, now while you're shuffling,
Yeah.
I find it amazing that during this pilgrimage, you're supposed to circle around this box seven times counterclockwise. Now, I don't know if any of you guys knew that, because it was a surprise to me that they are rotating the same way the Earth rotates. I always assumed the Earth was rotating clockwise.
Guilty. Me too.
Counterclockwise.
Yep.
And yet, isn't it strange that a clock goes forward?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, it's also, I think we talked about the other day, Nadia, that they do it 7 times because 7 is such an important, I call it a holy number.
Yeah, divine number.
And, you know, we got to remember Joshua and Jericho, and that was supposedly done 7 times as well. Is there a significance to that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the polarity and the energy. Yeah, another rabbit hole. Next. Here it comes. Next. There's another one right after it.
I think I got some dirt because I've been in these rabbit holes so many times this week.
I feel like I should buy extra carrots to feed the rabbits I come across. Let's see. There is definitely a correlation between the two. Oh.
I have a very tough
question.
Yeah. I was just going to ask a question, and from what I hear on your O's, is it connected to Rome also?
Yeah. Well, there's a card for that. Oh. Okay. So there's a correlation between the two that when you blend them together, it brings, let me take this off the screen.
Let's just call this entertainment purposes only, if you will.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is, yeah.
It's going to get blurry on me again. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the correlation between the two is to bring enlightenment. Okay. There is a deep connection between the two locations. And if people will actually find out the purpose, it brings enlightenment and truth. Okay. Because the hangman always is about furthering your spiritual balance. Okay. Nadia, you asked about Rome. This represents Rome when I do readings, is the Tower card. Because the falling of Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This absolutely represents the true correlation between the two came crashing down. That thought process. Well, because in the past, everyone knew the truth. The Queen of Swords was about, the leaders were making sure that they had truth and balance, because that's about justice. That they knew the purpose of the correlation between the locations. Well, it changed. That all came crashing down by new leaders. Oh, look at the redheads. Mm-hmm. Okay. So new leaders stole this because they work for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this guy sits beside this card, which is sad. And that's the strength card. This guy was too strong. Stole all of that, chained up the real truth.
Now, we're not talking about the religion, guys. We're not talking about
We're not talking about that. We're talking about just the correlation between the two properties. There is a purpose behind it.
Right. There's an energy.
very special of enlightenment about energy and things like that.
Could I mention that this is similar to the pyramids and being in other countries, if you will?
Yes, yes.
That would probably be the best way to explain that.
The reason that they use that same structure type build, the locations according to the stars and things like that. There's a correlation that's very important to that. The reason that this guy was so strong is because he's trying to counterbalance this. The Ace of Cups represents emotions. He wanted to be in full control of how people saw these two places. That is full control over people's emotions. And all it has done is bring heartache, division, and disappointment.
Which is what they did.
And I would argue that was the purpose.
That is the purpose. Absolutely crush the spirit. Well, there it is. To do this to the people. Keep them down.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jen, how's your time? I'm sorry. I know we're.
Yeah, I'm checking.
I just want to mention
as long as
that.
I wrap up in a half an hour, as long as I got a few minutes to do oracle cards, we're okay.
Okay. Well,
I have a private reading that I have to do.
That's fine. Yeah, I just don't want you to have to go from here to there. I mean,
Okay.
Take 5 minutes.
As long as I have to have enough time to cleanse and. Because I have to do a full reset before I do anything else.
We can wrap this up whenever you're ready. There is much more to this that we can't possibly cover.
I think we can continue this particular subject next week if you want to. Mm-hmm. So there's no gap. We don't start something new and get into a bigger rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think this basically is enough to feed Friday's questions if they have other questions. Yeah. And if we go by that, we can go to another section. But I think going deeper than this is going to cause turmoil in a lot of ways.
It will. I saw where Dragonfly 17, they've had great comments because I've watched a couple of them. They had comments on the silver, maybe why they use the silver to hold that rock together.
Yeah. So I think by Friday, if they're interested, we'll continue. But
we can continue.
Can we do a 3-card spread?
Sure.
If this going to Rome happened after the intention of good, after the built, or was it before the built? Does that make sense? Was the infiltration after they built the religious dome?
Well, I'll confirm it with that 3-card spread, but because the Tower card is in that same reading, this was the fall of Rome. I believe it came afterwards because the Devil card came in after that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. The intentions were holy, or for a good reason.
Yeah.
But it was infiltrated. That's what.
When everything started coming crashing down, Rome fell. They just went through, destroyed everything. Yeah. It didn't matter where it came from. Yeah.
And I just also want to mention when it comes to the silver, silver obviously also meant purity. Yes. And I'm a firm believer that the wives' tales of, kill the vampire with silver, can't touch silver. There's very much something to that. I've never felt anything. I've never got anything negative from any kind of piece of silver. So what you don't see historically is in certain religions, they enshrine things in gold.
Yeah.
And yet this way back when was encased in silver. And what you have to understand is silver was not as plentiful at that time
as gold.
Right. It wasn't. So that was, not just reverence, like this is rolling out the red carpet for.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make that
absolutely.
Also silver in an energetic form is transmutation.
Right.
Yep.
But nothing evil can attach itself to.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a great conductor. To hold energy as well. Yeah. As far as Rome goes, after it fell, because that's what we're confirming. Yes, that's an Ace of Wands. It was after Rome fell. It's like they just went through and started knocking them all off.
Oh, okay.
That means the Khazarian
reset. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, the leaders. Look at the red hair.
Maybe they went in because
red-headed today. So yeah, the leaders actually went in to start doing this. This is to just absolute create division and destroy it all. Yeah, this was after Rome. Yep, this is the final confirmation for that, because the Ten of Wands is once they wrapped up Rome, they moved on, which is quite sad. Wow.
All right, sit Schneider's hit.
Hi, Snyder boy. I probably shouldn't talk to him. I'll get him all fired up.
Yeah, you don't want him to start talking about things we weren't allowed to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the full card, they went out, took a leap of faith, and went after the next thing after Rome. So, yeah, they definitely wrapped up in Rome and went on to the next thing.
Sorry I had to go there. I was having a hard time breathing.
Are the doggies bombing you?
Oh, yeah.
Hell
Still
yeah.
lingering.
All right. So, wow, this is just a little drop in the bucket today, but my goodness. So we definitely have a correlation between the two locations. I'm going to try to find some better pictures that are bigger that I can blow up, maybe different angles, and get a better idea. I found it fascinating that the Dome of the Rock and where it sits, outside of the building, they have those standing structures of arches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to understand the purpose because I haven't dug that far yet.
Well, on top of that, there's several of them that are domes. I couldn't get a count on how many domes are on top of the Temple Mount.
Yeah.
I couldn't get an accurate number because they all have names.
Yeah.
And it was hard to see because is there something from an overhead view, which I could not find?
Like an aerial view? Because I think isn't that
they
illegal?
are they it
No,
may
they
be,
have it. It's just not labeled. They
Right,
have an
are they-
aerial view, but
is
it's
there
just not
something to do
labeled.
with the placement? You know, I'm thinking, I'm trying to think outside the box. We've seen some structures kind of look like circuit boards when it's laid out
Yeah.
in plazas.
Yeah.
I was I was going down that rabbit hole, and then another rabbit hole, and another rabbit hole.
Well, one place on the side I saw was Suleiman's home temple, but it's not Solomon. I was
Right.
confused about these two characters or names, but there's also another mosque up there called Al-Aqsa. So there are certain things placed, but I couldn't get any labels on those domes. Couldn't get anything about them.
Interesting.
It almost seems there's a similarity. Okay, Ishmael and Isaac.
Yeah.
Solomon.
It's just to deter a rabbit hole.
Well, do you see what I'm saying?
Are we just talking about a difference of enunciation, but it's actually the same person?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it?
No, it's not. Well,
it's not. But when you think about it, it leads you to an assumption, or you think, oh, same
person.
Yeah.
So it's not really the same person, but you just assume it is because it sounds alike.
Well, from what I knew, Suleiman built the Jerusalem wall. I don't know if Solomon did it.
Well, see, but we are taught as Christians, and even in the Jewish faith, that Solomon built those walls.
Okay, so if we assume that Suleiman, he spoke to all animals and people and jinn, like I was telling Jay, and he actually was standing holding his staff when he died, and the termites ate the staff. And when he fell over, everybody was freed, including the jinns. Now, is that Solomon? Or is this another person, Suleiman?
Why don't we just do a 3-card yes or no spread if it's the same person?
Okay, that'd be fun. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then
we should probably end at that.
I was just gonna say maybe end it there so you can pull the other cards, and hopefully people have some questions for next week, and we can see what was in there. And
let's see what the energy brings on Friday.
Yeah.
And Jay would love to go into more spider webs.
Oh, I was exhausted. I was exhausted.
But you did get an epiphany, so I love it.
Several, yeah.
Which, guys, shout out to Jay's show this morning. It was amazing.
Yes, it was.
You know what? There was so much energy. They were trying to stop that. I don't know why.
Yes,
Yeah,
And,
you were very glitchy, but we got the message though.
And just on an odd note, when I put in into gematria,
oh yes, that was beautiful.
there was like on that term on the I am and that whole term, I was getting things like he is coming, rods of God, man of God, a code of God, miracle and DNA, Draco popped up. There was all kind of weird stuff. I mean for this show, I'm sorry, but
yeah,
there was so much. And then when I looked at it, I don't always look at it, but every once in a while there's something that jumps out and grabs you. And one of the things that the I ams, how I labeled that video, there was Enoch connections, there was all kind of just spinning, swirling rabbit hole, all coincidental. Bless you, Schneider.
He said Kazarian, by the way.
I was gonna say
Kazarian. Well, yeah, Kazarian.
There it is.
Thanks, Schneider.
Snyder's reading the cards
Schneider's
for you.
You read the cards?
Okay, so to
Good
cause
boy.
division, so we're coming up with a whole story to cause division. All right. Independence, being sovereign and independent of their own person. So we're talking about two different people here, but they confuse the crap out of you, thinking, well, we'll just make it sound good. It's the same. Yeah. We have negative off-worlders because that's what the devil is. So that's a draconian way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to have power and authority over them. They have great advice in what's going to come, because I pulled an additional 2 cards and I'm like, well, what do we do with it now? And they said, be patient. It will bring itself balance and reconciliation with the faiths.
I love it.
It's resetting itself.
I'm going to say this, and I think I can say this without any hesitation.
Yeah.
But when I had the Council of Nicaea pop in my head,
Mm-hmm.
red lights went off.
Yeah.
Like, warning wise. I was like, wow.
When they started picking and choosing what we could read and see and what we couldn't, then that's all this. That's all that is. Because you can't have this, which is sovereignty and independence, if this guy's in the way. Because he tried to steal it every single time.
Right. We think about today and tomorrow. They think in centuries.
Yes. Oh yeah. They were considering us hundreds of years down the road when they did all that.
Yep.
Yeah, to totally get control. But definitely 2 different people though. So they were sovereign and independent from one and each other, and have their own stories. But yeah, they're messing with us. But I like the final confirmation that if we're patient, we will reconcile with each other over the real truth.
Right.
It'll balance itself out.
This was a totally personal journey too. It really was, as much as the information. There was a whole lot of personal growth in it, just for me alone.
Yeah.
Connection wise and everything. It was pretty cool.
Well, either wherever I would get either stuck or led to another big opening and hole, I would sit there and go, okay, now what? Because then you're trying to figure out, like, get the dowsing rods out and figure out which way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I just talked to Yeshua and I said, what do you want me to do? And he just kind of smiled and he says, I'm just glad you're asking questions.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
I kept saying really, and I got, oh yeah, really.
Wow. The base card on that is the justice card. Justice will be served. It will balance it out. Now, justice represents justice in general. It will be just. It doesn't mean that you have to agree and like it, but it will be just in the eyes of the Creator.
But truth is truth and justice is justice.
That's right.
Amen.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Okay, do your cards, Jen.
Yeah, let's do our oracles, and then we'll pick back up on Friday. And anybody wants to jump in that conversation on Friday, we'll see where else it takes us.
I'll be right back. I have a quick potty run. I'm sorry. This is for
fine.
me, not blaming the dogs.
Okay, you're
Just
fine.
to make it smell there, Jay.
You're fine.
Yeah, it was very amazing energy today, Jen. I loved it.
Yes, it is. It is beautiful energy. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. So our angel of abundance today is employment change. Somebody gonna change their job. We could be doing that spiritually as well. Your career path is leading you in a higher direction with positive changes to support your dreams, priorities, passions, and life purpose. Trust that these changes will help you release the old and welcome the new. Well, isn't that what we're doing now? You are being supported each step of the way. Well, employment, priorities, passions, any of that. So it's not just a job, but just the way we look at the world is changing. And we're being supported. So just on the topic of what we've been doing, we have all the support.
Even family.
Yes. Archangel Samuel is our archangel today. Pretty in orange. This is choose harmonious responses, act with wisdom and grace. Easier said than done for some. That's I'm talking about myself, by the way. All right. If your soul wishes you to progress on your ascension path through the training schools run on the inner planes by the Seraphim, you must first apply to Archangel Metatron. As soon as permission is granted, Archangel Samuel will connect with you. He prepares you for higher intergalactic work by presenting you with challenges to your ego. Oh, great. He is sometimes known as the angel of death, for as well as breaking down all the blocks created by your ego, he tries to eradicate your negative ego. Well, he got a lot of work to do on me. He orchestrates those stubborn trials. Are they talking about me? Trials that keep appearing in your life in order to bring about humility to child. Good luck. All right. Here are your chakra ones. Always, I love this. Always trust your instinct, follow your gut. Trust your, especially on this journey, follow your gut. Which way do I go? Which way did it go, George? Yeah. As you do this, you're dealing with expansion spiritually. I mean, just education in general, but this is bringing expansion to you and the way you think and process things and the way you're seeing it. Now, this doesn't really need much explanation, but bittersweet means letting go of some of the old thought processes can be hard to do, but the reward when the truth finally gets there and you finally have that exception to you, trust your instinct and your discernment and expand your mind, it can feel a little bittersweet because letting go of all those lies we've been told, it can be kind of hard because your ego tries to take over and go, well, that can't be true. That's not what I was told. We do a lot of that, but we're getting better. We're a work in progress, but understanding that all these things, you take it with a grain of salt and you just keep learning because that's what we're doing.
Well, I think you're telling me these cards too. It resonates so well.
It does. I mean, it's hard. I mean, truth is truth. You can't argue with that. Whether we want to hear it or not, it's happening.
And once you see it, you can't unsee it either.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once you go through that great awakening and the scales have been removed from your eyes, you can't go back to being blind unless you get amnesia. We'll start whopping each other over the head.
10-second Tom.
Yeah,
I am
there
Tom.
you go.
So we did pretty well.
We did.
If we do not go through second part of this, is there any idea of where you want to go from there, like Easter Island, Stonehenge?
Yeah, actually, we're going to do Stonehenge would be the next topic, and because depending upon how big that rabbit hole, because it is, we will also include Easter Island on that as well. Those will be the two that we would put together. But something tells me Stonehenge is going to be quite, I don't know, expensive itself. But I figure we're going to stick with Mecca, at least on Friday. We're going to stick with Mecca and the Dome of the Rock and see what else we can talk about. So maybe next week. And I have invited Dennis King himself to start joining our roundtables because he has got a plethora of information and knowledge as well.
Should be
Very
interesting.
smart, and I totally respect him. So
I think he lived through it all. That's all I'm saying.
I know he's seen it all, and he can tell us because he has eyewitness accounts. Probably had his own Polaroids of the whole event.
I hope he took pictures when they were building it.
I know. We love you, Dennis. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks,
I
love.
will see you Friday. I will
Love
update.
to all of you guys.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Love
Thank
12.
you for joining us. Have a blessed day. Love and light. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.